going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Here we are.
Yep.
What are we in?
GT4.
Brand new one though.
Oh yeah.
2020, right? The one everybody, you know, I know it's been delivered in Europe, but hey, people are starting to take US delivery finally on these things. And we're fortunate enough to be at Porsche of Tampa, our extended family. Thank you to the Rees family for having us here and putting us in this brand new 2020 GT4
Barely any miles.
with the cup spec, right? Like it's the cup white on the outside, looks so good with the yellow stitching to match. Yeah, the carbon ceramics on the outside. So stay tuned, listen to our thoughts about this beautiful machine, what we think, right?
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be awesome. Good at high RPM, right?
Yeah, that's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
That 5 and
so above 5, you get a lot more sound out of it. But Aaron and I at like low RPM were saying like, and it's not a secret, so we're not telling you anything you haven't heard before, but this particular model of the, like, because of all the particular filters that are going into these cars that they have to make, it is really like super quiet.
I think we actually, I'm not 100%, but I think the US doesn't have them.
I know, but I mean, even with that, it's
imagine.
Still quiet.
Yeah,
can you imagine what the Euro spec cars sound like? They must just sound like dead silent.
It's gonna be like Taycan.
Yeah, like they have to be dead silent. Like,
so
yeah, this car is in desperate need of.
Well, I mean, but if it's gonna be your daily, then it's fine.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, you think about it like livability. I guess it's depending on your usage, right? Like, so if you're gonna use it, this isn't really a daily, but
I don't know. I think it's more of a daily than the 981. At least the one we drove. I mean, that actually had straight pipe and
well, yeah. Hear a lot of mechanical noise, as you should from a GT car. I'll tell you what though, the manual shift, that's what really it makes this car so special, is that eventually you'll be able to get these in PDK as well, because they said they're going to make that option. But to be able to get this car in a manual in the GT market, you know, minus that like 2018 situation where the GT3 cars were, you could spec them in a manual. These are coming in manual right now. So it's one of the few manual Porsches still around.
It is. I mean, and some people will still want the gearing changed because it's a little still long.
Yeah.
No matter what.
There's no secret about that. Yeah, the gearing is super long, but you know, it's fine. But it goes back to another thing, like you said, if you're dailying the car,
it's perfect.
You probably want that longer gearing, so you're not always having to gear change if you're stuck in traffic or moving around, so you could keep it in a gear and be fine with it and putz around. Not that this car was made for that. See, in this car, like, we're in a GT car. I bitch and moan a lot about like Alcantara steering wheel and shifters. It belongs in this car. It feels right in this car. You know, and something it's, I don't know, everyday daily spec, I guess, and not a GT car, to have an Alcantara steering wheel on that just doesn't add up for me.
That's true. Because you're not going to use that. I mean, the purpose of this is...
Yeah. I mean, you're going to go on your, spirited mountain drives or weekend drives or track drives. And this gearbox, though, the ratio is really short, which is so nice. It's so good. Its clutch isn't super heavy.
Okay. It's got the aluminum pedals. Everybody seems to love. These seats are nice though.
And yeah, these seats are really make you feel very cockpitish, right? Like,
I don't know. They give me. They feel comfortable to me. That's what.
No, I know. I feel, but I'm saying like I feel like I'm in a cockpit, like right now, like what you should, like in one of these cars. Like I really like your sight line is right above the steering wheel, almost kind of like where it should be at. Like you don't feel like you're sitting on top of the car, like you're sitting inside of it as you should. You know, like with other cars, you feel like you could be sitting like on top of stuff, but like this one, it feels like you're in it. How do you feel about the way this one's spec'd inside?
I'm not always a fan of yellow, but this looks good with the BCCBs.
Yeah.
The yellow poles, the yellow deviated stitching. It's a good spec. And you did point out earlier, yellow belts could be a thing. And it wouldn't be a bad day.
Yeah, it wouldn't be overkill, right? Like, because it's so dark in here, yellow belts wouldn't be overkill in here.
The 35 foot-pounds of torque difference?
Actually, no, I don't. I mean, but I'm spoiled because I've been driving in the mountains a car that had a ton of torque, the Turbo S, which isn't really fair because, you know, this makes this feel gutless, even though it's not gutless. But what are our specs on this? Go ahead and tell everybody exactly.
414 horsepower.
Okay.
And 309.
And that's up from how much on the last one? Like, I think the last one was below 400.
I think it's about the same. I think it was 400. I think it's almost the same amount of horsepower, and I know that the torque was different.
I think it's a little bit more bump in horsepower, actually. But either way, like...
But yeah, that's what I know.
This thing looks good, though. Like, just everything about it, I love it. It's just so business-oriented.
I do agree. It could be just a little bit louder.
Yeah.
I mean, we got binoculars on, and it's still...
Yeah. Quiet. But, you know, I don't know, like you said, you made a good point, though. Like, to live with that every day, maybe it'd be tough. Because now...
I couldn't live with that 981 that we drove.
Yeah.
With that 5-speed. That exhaust was loud.
That's why you just have to keep buying multiple Porsches, right? Like you just buy it. You just have like you buy it for what it's meant to do. Like instead of trying to make it do something, you know, outside of its realm of comfortability. That's what you want right there. That noise above 5. Yeah, that's the song. That's why you buy this car, because of that song.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this traffic's not letting us.
Yeah, that's the song you buy this car for, like all of that goodness. And the gear shifter, like obviously you buy this because it's a manual. And right now, if you want a manual GT car, this is what you buy, because it's not offered in anything else.
Would you get the PDK and buckets if you're going to track it? Or would you, if you're serious?
If I was going to track it, like here's the thing. And I know it's a big like thing because we're so deep and ingrained in the Porsche brand and all that kind of stuff. It's like, if you're going to track it, I know it's easier said than done, but if you got to, I would just buy like a Cup one and track that and then get one of these for the street.
Okay.
I know it's an added expense, but, and I guess, however, you know, is if you can only afford one, then I'd say get the manual. Because honestly, are you living at the track with this that you bought for a street spec? No. If you are, then like if you're really living at the track, I really think you bought the wrong car. Like why don't you just buy a Cup car? I just never understood that. Like if you really are a track rat, like every weekend, like any moment you have free, you just live at the track. That's all you ever do with your car. I don't know. I guess that's maybe why, like, some people want to occasionally drive them on the street, I guess, just so you can plate it. I mean, I just have a hard time wrapping my head around that. So the long answer is no. I wouldn't get the PDK one because if I really wanted a PDK car, I would just buy the GT3 because you're forced into a PDK at that point. Like if I wanted a manual driving experience, I would buy the GT4 because, again, this is the only one. Yeah, this is the only one you can get in a manual GT car at the moment. So, for the road at least, you know. And I love, like, this wheel feels really good.
Yeah, and they didn't, I mean, like you can see, there's no manual, there's no controls, it's just straight steering wheel.
They didn't muddy it up with, like, controls and all this other crap on here. Like, it's clean, right?
They could, because they have the tach, so they could have put the little bit.
It's very, very motorsporty, where it's, you're not cluttered with a lot of stuff. And the nice part about, too, in the era that we're in with all this modern tech, as Aaron was saying, the gauges here are still analog, meaning like the tach is analog and my speedo is analog. The only thing is my fuel, my tire pressure. That's the only thing that's digital now over here in this car. So it still gives you an older school feel still.
Yep. I definitely feel like it does have a little bit more pull than the other one. But
yeah.
It's all about the 4,000 and up, really, is what it's about.
And that's where all of these GT cars have to live at. You got to live above 4,000 and really get what you need out of them. And again, that's no secret. We know that about these cars. I mean, this thing is just a great place to be. Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's the crazy part about that.
Race car comfortable.
Yeah, like it gives you the race car feels, but like you said, these seats, you could take a 10-hour trip in these seats, no problem. Yeah. And everybody I know, it's not sexy to always get like, everybody wants the carbon buckets, and we talk about this on the podcast. Oh, well, you know, the resale and all that stuff. Don't buy it for that. Buy it for you. Like, if you're going to spec the car and you are fortunate enough to get an allocation and you're legitimately going to drive it, who cares what, like, somebody thinks about, like, oh, you didn't get the carbon buckets. Yeah, they look better, but I'm telling you, we've been in carbon buckets. And after a while, they're miserable to be in for a long period of time. And if you want to do some significant driving in these cars, comfort seats, man. That's the secret spec.
The secret, not secret.
Yeah. Because honestly, like, there's still a lot of bolstering on these comfort seats.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm...
And then the nice part is the fact that there's Alcantara is going to help hold you in too, and you're not going to slide around.
Yeah, that is the key factor.
So think about that when you go, and you're like, oh, well, I got to get the carbon buckets. No, you don't. Like, you can get these with Alcantara, and they're going to hold you in just fine. And your body is going to be happier you did it.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yep. It's been a while.
So I know we were talking about the exhaust earlier. So Aaron and I figured out with some driving rollers, sounds better outside of the car than it does inside of the car. So
it's true.
It's dead, I think. Or dying. Yeah, it's dead. It just died. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, it does sound so much better outside.
But it still needs exhaust.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but it is better.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even like low speeds, watching it turn around, it deepens up like you hear out of a GT2 RS. Like it gets that blah. Like you can hear the valves open, but otherwise, it's just. I mean, it's docile.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you how much, even though this car is light and a GT car, how much the sound deadening does.
Yeah, that's true.
To make it a livable car.
Yeah, I'm sure the RS version of this, when it comes out, it'll be just ungodly loud. And then we'll be like, it's too loud.
And you know what? That's a good point. That this is a GT4. It's not an RS car. So it's not meant to have too race car-y of a personality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these brakes are touchy.
Yeah, they're good.
They're new.
But I mean, as far as all the GT cars go for practicality, I know we said like, you know, you really don't want it daily, but like of all the GT cars, because this one has a frunk and there's like a trunk in the back, like you could put stuff. So it has the most storage.
Most room. It's true.
Out of all of the GT cars.
That Cayman life at the end of the day.
But I guess also in a 911, if you don't put a cage in the back, you have a huge storage area to put luggage and stuff like that too.
That's true.
Like Chris and Albert and those guys don't have a cage in theirs, and you could store a lot of stuff back there.
It would make all the difference at, for storage. But then again, cool factor.
Yeah.
Safety factor.
Yeah. Sounds good. Gotta live in those high RPMs though, I'm telling you. That's the life. You gotta live up there.
That is the life.
It's no fun below 4,000. Otherwise, you're just a regular car then.
Yeah, that's true. Love the steering feel. Feels light.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's ready
very,
to turn it in any second.
Very point and shoot. How do you feel about the wheels on this? I actually like the way.
I know. They've been getting better and better.
Yeah.
Each generation, I think they've nailed it. This wheel design at first.
Like the pedals, like they look like pedals. They look really good.
I mean, it's just it's a modern interpretation of the poop wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's
really good.
Really working well on these GT cars. I think it's proper size now. I mean, it just. And then all the different. I think they're doing more. I don't know if they're doing more colors, but I feel like I've seen these in more colors on this. This GT4 than the last one.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, this white spec, the yellow deviated. I like it. I'm not hating it.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd add is maybe yellow belts, and I think it's game over after that.
Yeah.
And then you said this one, like we talked a little bit offline, I think. This one spec'd up is 124, right?
Yep, 124.
You need
so
go left if you can.
Yeah. Just driving and enjoying.
Yeah, so I mean, Aaron was saying base on this is 99.
Yep.
Now, if you can get an allocation, that's a whole different story. But we're talking prices.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
And really, no wonder these fly off the shelf, because really they are bargains, because you're getting a manual GT car for 120. Like the way this is spec, you could get one for, like, let's say, for if you really didn't spec it up, maybe you got 105 or something like that. Like you just got whatever they gave you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think you might get it down to like 116.
Okay, let's call it 115 just to, like, for argument's sake. So like you're getting a brand new GT car manual for 115,000.
Yeah, it's brand new. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like you can
same price that 15 5-year-old GT3s are going for.
PDK.
Exactly.
So there's your.
But for an enthusiast, you want the manual, or they say they want the manual. Let's see if they, people are like, oh, we want the manual. PDK is outstanding too. Don't get me wrong, but we're just basically saying you can get something 2020. I still love the GT3. Don't get me wrong. Like I love that car. But if you want something a little bit newer and you want a manual, you don't really have a lot of options in the Porsche world. Why not spend 120 and get a GT car?
This shifter feels amazing.
Yeah, it does.
This feels like the numeric shifter that I have.
Yeah.
Very, very
exactly
direct and
rifle bolt.
Yeah, actually. Clutch feels good.
The common term in the car world, everybody.
Rifle bolt action.
Exactly.
Yeah, the clutch feels really good. The clutch feels like your Turbo S.
Yeah.
Super, again, we can't say
Livable.
the word livable enough, but if you would need a livable GT car, this is the one.
100%. 100%. And this one looks even more aggressive than the first gen.
Yeah.
I feel like this car looks more GT car than the first gen.
It does. They nailed the angles.
Yeah.
The ducting. There's just one more.
Angrier, right?
Yeah, that's not bad. It does make some good sounds.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for styling cues though, absolutely in love with this second gen. I feel it's a lot more aggressive. I feel you're getting more of a GT feel by just the looks of it, aesthetically pleasing, and also the feels of driving it.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is more part of the GT club than the other one. Like the other one felt like it could be more of like, you know, just a warmed over Cayman, essentially, is what it is. From a styling cue. I mean, it has an aggressive front fascia, different bumpers. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like discrediting it, but like this one is a lot more aggressive looking.
Do you think that they were ever going to give this car a GT motor, like a true, like, that's my question.
It might be, you know when I think they'll do it, if they do it?
RS?
Yeah, you know when I think they'll do it? I think it'll be the send-off, and what I mean the send-off is when we know the naturally aspirated engine is gone, and they don't care about it competing with like the 911 anymore because they're all going hybrid.
Yeah.
I think the send-off car may be that car that everybody like wants so badly. They're like, oh my God, it's a Cayman with the GT3 RS motor. You know, like that car.
Like they've been holding off, like they started giving little bits and pieces every generation. Like,
almost like a farewell to like the naturally they're like, screw it, put it in the car because we're going, everything's going hybrid next year anyways, it doesn't matter. So we're making like, throw it in the car.
it's on the shelf, we're putting it in.
Yeah, we're making the baddest one ever, you know, and that's like the send-off car or something where they're like, oh my God, like that kind of deal.
This is so good.
Yeah, but we want to thank Porsche of Tampa once again.
Yeah.
We hope you guys enjoyed the review. This is a beautiful, beautiful car. I hope you enjoyed all of the angles that we showed you. We highly recommend if you have an opportunity to buy one, you should definitely buy one. You're not missing out.
Oh, no.
Everybody's like on the defense of like first gen or this gen, which one's better? This one's definitely better.
Well, you get the newer things when you want the newer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole purpose.
I like this one better than the newer one. I mean, the older one, excuse me. And just always remember, like, Porsche of Tampa has tons of allocations for cars, so just work with them and they'll try to work with you to get an allocation. Make sure you buy your cars from them because they support us and support the people that are supporting us, right?
Yep.
So thank you once again. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all of those great things. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
See ya.